One of the techniques I've employed right from the very beginning in not only my understanding, but also in the teaching is taking these theories and philosophies and protocols sometimes that, I mean, sometimes they're fairly easy to understand in that respect, but often the challenge is how do I take that and condense it down to a simple to apply practice that I can apply every day in my life experiences. And this is what I've used right from the beginning regarding the manifesting process is think of water. Now, water can take a variety of forms. It can take vapor, it can be water, or it can be ice. So it's all water, it just is in different forms. So the same thing with everything our experience. Everything our experience is energy. It's just energy that takes different forms. Or another way to think of it is vapor, water, and ice. Now, of course, water vapor, the molecules are much more expanded, and you can move your hand, right? Water vapor, you can just move your hand through it. Now, when those molecules start to condense and it becomes water, now you can still move your hand through it, but there's a little bit of resistance, isn't there? So if we want to move water, it takes a bit of effort. Now, if those molecules become even more condensed, now it becomes ice. Now, if right now outside in Alberta, Canada, it's warmed up actually, so it's only like minus 12, but the last few days it's been minus 20, minus 30, and that ice is hard as concrete. So if you want to move that ice, it's almost impossible. You have to chip at it. You have to pound it with a big hunk of steel or something. But it's still the same molecules. It's just that they're more condensed. Now, when we're manifesting, there are things we do at all three layers. I'm going to draw this analogy to water. But you see, when it's water vapor, this is where we create those dreams. This is where we visualize. This is where our thoughts are. And they're very easy to move, right? You can move them here, change them here, change them here, change them here. So it really takes very little effort to move it. As we do that, that water vapor is making its way into the physical to become solid. So it goes from water vapor, now it goes into water, right? It's condensing more. Now, water, again, we can move it, but it takes a little bit more work, and there's that resistance. So this is often what happens. So you're visualizing your desires, you're feeling it on the inside, and it starts to make its way into the physical. So it has to go through that watery stage, if you will, first. And that's often where you'll start to experience resistance. Now, not a lot, but you experience resistance. Now, what's so important is to understand that the resistance, well, it might always be pleasant. It's an important indicator that which was just vapor, where you seeded it with those dreams and those desires, is starting to condense and make its way down to become ice. But as it moves, there's more of that resistance as it makes its way through that process. And so this is where we use our tools. And so that's step 3 of the manifesting process, right? Step 1 is creating a perfect desire. Step 2 is feeling it on the inside. Step 3 is managing the resistance. So remember, when that starts, when you're moving through that stage, if and when you're feeling resistance, that's actually an indicator that that process is doing what it's supposed to do. And then it makes its way down into become ice. Now, this is where you start to see the changes in your physical world. Now, as I said, out here at minus 30, that ice, when you're moving that ice, you can move it, but it's going to take a lot of effort. And when you move ice, it's cracking and it's groaning and pieces are flying up. So it takes the most amount of effort to change it at that level. And it causes most destruction, if you will, when you're doing it. See, and this is why we want to maximize the efficiency of our manifesting efforts. So the more work, quote unquote, work we do in the vapor and the water stage, the less work we should have to do nor need to do when it gets to that ice. Now, when it condenses into the physical, and if you look at that physical and you go, okay, so there's some things I like about this, there's some things I don't like about this, rather than trying to change it at that level, go back up to that water vapor stage and change it there. Because that's where you have the maximum amount of efficiency. and the least amount of effort, right? To change it there. Now it's going to have to go through the process, right? Get into water vapor and then into the physical again. But I find trying to make those significant changes at that physical level with ice takes the most effort. You're going to have the least results because it's so incredibly inefficient. So as you're manifesting these dreams and desires, understand these levels. Understand where it's most efficient for you to sort of use your techniques and use these practices. Because it's all about manifesting. I like this, I don't like this. So change it up, right? Alter it, do it again. It's cycles, right? Dreams, desires, into the water, into the physical, like that, don't like that, change it up here, do it again. It's this cycle that goes over and over and over and over and over. That's the manifesting process. It's really pretty simple and it's really quite accurate.